a helpless father on the run with his infant, an overworked police officer on their trail, and a chase ensues. That is the basic plot of the upcoming film Joram that has been feted in film festivals worldwide, and now finally it is coming to India, in theatres near you. I have the film's director Devashish Makhija and the film star Manoj Bajpayee with me. Thank you for your time. Welcome to DNA.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll start with you, Devashish. A simple question is that when a film like Joram, which is quote unquote, as they call it, a small film, a small budget film, let's put it that way, is applauded so much across the world and in India as well, how much confidence does that give you as a maker that it will find its audience?
To be honest, films in the past, small films, interesting films, have been feted, have been applauded, but things don't change unless they find release and unless they reach the people they were intended for. Because finally, if a film like this is trying to raise questions, trying to hold up a mirror, we need that mirror to be looked into by our own countrymen. So somewhere the fact that it's releasing is going to make all the difference, not the fact that it was fated. Of course, the laurels lead eventually to the release, but this is what matters.
You know, when we make something about class, about tribals, it is viewed as something different from the mainstream, and it is. Let's just be very honest about it. Do you think 25 years ago, Manoj sir can tell you probably there was a lot of resistance to such stories. They were termed as parallel cinema. हमेशा एक term दिया जाता है उनको. Do you think situation is changing now?
These things come in cycles. It's like a sine curve graph. So in the 20 years that I've been around, I worked on Black Friday. There was a bit of a wave back then also. It disappeared. OTTs brought it back. Maybe we are riding a bit of that wave. So I don't hold out hope forever, but the key to an artist is to be always ready and ride the curve when the wave comes.
Manoj sir, we have only seen a little of the trailer, but as you have already spoken in other interviews as well, that किरदार की जो lines हैं वो कम हैं. It's a silent character. Right. He doesn't like to talk much. And you have played such characters before in his films, of course, you have, where the eyes do the talking. That is always the biggest compliment an actor can get कि आपकी आंखों ने बात की है. But how challenging is it that lines नहीं हैं आपके पास and you have to bring that emotion in onto the camera?
चैलेंजिंग ये होता है कि कई बार हम अब क्राफ्ट से चीज़ों को कवर अप कर देते हैं और जितने भी एक्सपीरियंस एक्टर्स हैं वो बहुत ही क्लेवर होते हैं. दे आर वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. दे विल नेवर लेट द डायरेक्टर नो एज टू व्हेन एंड हाउ दे एक्चुअली एस्केप द प्रिपरेशन बिकॉज दे बीन एक्सपीरियंस्ड, दे नो द स्किल, they know how to just say it so beautifully that everyone around them will be convinced. But when it comes to Bhosle, Gali Guliyan, Aligarh and Joram, you can't escape it because your director is not giving you that crutch. Okay, so the only option that you're left with is to get into the skin of the character from the word go. If you don't do that, your eyes will expose you. Right. And camera is a very dangerous tool which the director has. Okay, and he's watching you on the monitor. He's watching you all the time, and he can go on for forever to get that from you, get that performance in your eyes. So the challenging is that challenging is to really work on the character, note down all the necessary elements, go through Devashish Makhija's notes again and again, read the script, know it fully well, right, and then start preparing yourself to travel into the depth of the character, which is dark, which is such an intense and dark alley that most of us actors are very scared to get into.
Sometimes what actors do is that when they have such a difficult, intense character, they take a break and do something lighter and then they come back.
Right.
You don't do that. आप तो एक के बाद एक सिरे से जो हैं intense characters लाते हैं. So is that a conscious choice या
I don't know. You're making me sound like a masochist. Like to badger himself.
But I'm saying you take up the challenge somehow.
No, I mean I love it.
Yeah.
See, I love acting. This is something which gives me joy. It gives me a sense of freedom. it gives me freedom to express myself. So it gives me the language and a lot of confidence also. I feel that I keep getting from the performances that I do. So the acting itself, in the manner that I have done over the years, it has really opened me up as a human being. I have always been a very shy person. I'm still a very hesitant person in introducing myself. But
now you don't need to most often.
But now I feel a lot of confidence in talking to people, expressing myself, communicate. So this is one job I'm completely in love with.
But also the kind of younger filmmakers he's supporting, we are all dark, depressive.
Yeah. Generation थोड़ी हाँ, exactly. It's a very emo generation, put it very mildly. I'll ask you one question, is that during the pandemic, this was such a bad time for cinemas because it closed down for 6-7 months. आपकी खुद की ही फिल्म कितने सालों से आ नहीं पाई because it was like, let's release on OTT, theaters चल नहीं रहे थे and all that. Now 2023, films came back. Hindi films are working, but a certain kind of films. Because like you said, people like to go to theaters, they want to get their money's worth. Now, ever since last 30 years, there's been a tag given to films like Joram. पहले वो parallel films होती थी, फिर वो festival films हुई, अब वो OTT films and all that. So इस genre की जो films हैं, उनका वक्त कैसे या कब आ पाएगा थिएटर में? How do you feel that change?
That's a very good question. See, we are just coming out of pandemic. We have not come out of it completely. Everybody is kind of feels that everything is normal. No, it is not. I mean, look at cinemas now. People are still working from home. They are still used. They are many people are opting to work from home. So not necessarily that we have gone back to the normalcy. No. Also for theaters, people have been taking time to go to a theater and make it a habit, as it used to be pre-pandemic. But if they are going to the theater, they are only going for the bigger,
grander entertainment,
big bonanza action films. Right. Okay, they want to see their heroes winning and be entertained. Right. Okay, action films are mostly doing very well, but the one or two small films' success have really given us a lot of confidence that things are changing, but it's changing slowly. But definitely it's changing. We are not there. We're starting to change for those films. I would cite an example of Sirf Ek Banda Kafi Hai.
Right.
Okay. It came on OTT. Then people demanded for the theatrical release. It went on theater. That was historical. Yes, yeah. It was. I myself promoted that film for 1 month because for 15 days for OTT, 15 days for theatrical.
I remember. Yeah.
So went around promoting the film, and that has given a lot of confidence. And also Barwi Fail. Right. That film, slowly it started growing, and now it's in a good place.
Yeah. And so not talking about numbers, but it is doing pretty well.
6th week.
6 weeks, exactly.
Yeah. So numbers, at the end of the day, numbers are not the real judge of a film. Right. 12th Fail, nobody knows. Very few people must be knowing how much it has earned. But everybody knows that there is a small film which has really stayed true to its,
outlasted the Diwali bumper releases.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone. So, for us, we have few examples to take confidence from and be very hopeful about the future. That is why Joram becomes very important for the audience who like to watch content, who like to watch stories, characters on the screen. And also, we are very excited to bring this film to the theaters.
I'll end it with one final question. Is that 3-4 years ago, before pandemic, or probably even longer, box office numbers trade analyst की ज़ुबान पर होते थे. आज वो audience की ज़ुबान पर भी हैं for some reason. We all know पठान ने कितने कमाए, जवान ने, एनिमल ने, whatever, even 12th Fail. How did that change? मतलब आपको क्यों लगता है कि
आप उनके चेहरे पे रोज मारोगे नंबर तो वो उसी नंबर पे बात करेंगे.
राइट.
ये भाई ऑडियंस तो रोज सोशल मीडिया पे ज़्यादातर लोग सोशल मीडिया पे हैं, एंड एवरी सेकंड पोस्ट इज अबाउट द नंबर्स ऑफ द रिसेंट रिलीजेस. सो Earlier they used to talk about 3 star, 2 stars. Now they talk about the earnings of the film.
They actually ignore the stars.
Yeah, and now they are ignoring the stars. So now for them, measurement of any success film is these many numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever you've been giving it to them,
Right.
they are the consumers. They will consume. It's not their fault. What are we doing as industry people? What precedent we are setting? Okay, is this the right way to go? That we have to think very deeply about.
If I may
Yeah,
add to
please.
this, even from the last question, you know that era of parallel versus mainstream cinema was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Somehow we are only perpetuating that narrative
Right.
from the time of Ram Gopal Varma onwards. Satya, what would you call it? A parallel film or a mainstream film?
course, yeah.
Gangs of Wasipur, what would you call it? So the attempt with Joram was to not think about these boxes, but
Right.
to tell that story in the most accessible manner possible.
Right.
So somewhere all of these films inhabit a twilight zone, and we need to stop talking about this binary.
Yeah, because it's an overlapping field,
Yeah,
which
it-
we don't have to put them in boxes.
Yes,
Right.
if it's working, it's working. It will find its audience.
Thank you for the time, Manoj sir. Thank you for the time, Devashish. All the best for Joram. I
Thank
hope
you.
it finds its audience, and I hope everyone who has applauded it for so now, 1,000 times more people can do that.